Hey climbers, how's everyone doing? Good, thumbs up. Nice to see. So welcome to Maximize Your Mind on week 6. This peak has been flying by. We've gone through so much already. I'm excited to present to you guys Erin. Erin is a mental performance consultant. She was recently just in Japan helping the Paralympic team. So she is excellent at helping athletes reach their peak and their maximum potential. So she's going to help us on our journey. So without further ado, Erin, I'll hand it over to you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to see you all. Just before we get started, I think we have a few more people joining. I'll let you admit them if that works. Justin, it just keeps popping up on my screen, so I just want to make sure everyone gets in. So welcome today. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Some of you might even be finishing dinner because I know it's dinner time. I had to have a quick little sandwich before I got on the call here today. So I invite you all to turn your video screens on. And if you don't already have one, I would love for you to go and make sure you have a pen or pencil crayons and a piece of paper. So if you do have them, just maybe show me. Okay, I'm seeing everybody on the screen there. That's great. People are holding things up. Awesome. So I want today to be interactive. I want to have some fun. I really like doing arts and crafts. So I think we're definitely going to do a little bit of drawing and a little bit of creativity, some ideas to put our mental training into action. So I'm just going to share my screen with all of you here. Just give me a second. All right, so welcome to Maximize Your Mindset. Thanks again. My name's Erin, and I thought I would start off with talking a little bit about you as athletes. So that's the theme today. I know that you've talked about goal setting, you've done lots of mindfulness, you've even learned a little bit about your emotions. And the one thing I figured that would tie them all together is figuring out how you fit in and how all these things affect you as an individual human being, and then even more so you as a person. So I'm going to invite you on the journey today. We are going to do a little bit of climbing. I got some cool pictures and ideas, and we're going to keep coming back to those themes in our session today. And I think we all have these special journeys to go on. We're all working on achieving our different peaks. And for us as athletes, it's really important that we figure out what works for us and who we are and what we bring to the table. So we've already talked about who I am, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you all a little bit better. So we're going to talk about self-awareness and how it affects your confidence as an individual athlete. I know that as part of the Peak program, you've worked on a whole bunch of different things already in these last few weeks that relate back to getting to know you as a human being. And I think what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about trees as well, because I think we can learn a lot about trees. And I've heard that you've done some previous work about with emotions and even animals. So I think it's going to tie really well together. And then lastly, I want to do an activity where we get to do some arts and crafts, where we get to do some coloring, drawing, and we get to take a look at our strengths and weaknesses. So I want to make sure that we have enough time to do that. But with that being said, I probably should tell you who I am. I grew up in northern Alberta, so like 5 hours north of Edmonton, and I live in Edmonton now. So I would love to hear. I know that most of you are from different parts in across Alberta. So I would love for you to just put in the chat bomb right now your name, where you're visiting from on Zoom, since we can all actually be together. And if you could maybe let me know what sport you play. I would love to hear that. I've worked with a few special programs before. I've learned about bowling and bocce, and I definitely want to know where you're from and what sports you play. So we got Calgary. Hi, Dylan. Nice to meet you. You're from Lloydminster. Cool. So Calgary. Hi, Betty. Okay. Anyone else want to write in? Oh, Calgary, Fort Saskatchewan, bowling and bocce. Lee. Oh, awesome. Hi, Lori. Great. So bowling is really popular. And that's something I need to work on because I'm not that great at bowling, but I'm super competitive and I want to keep getting better. So if you have any tips, to be a better bowler, make sure you throw them in there for me too. Hi, Abby. You're from Calgary. Swimming. Awesome. I do a lot of work with swimming. Cool. Fort Saskatchewan, skiing, soccer, rhythmic gymnastics. Oh my gosh, Casey. Cool. Snowshoer. Wow. Okay. Oh, Darby, no problem. Arts and crafts, mom's with you. No problem. You can, she can definitely help you with that. And bocce. Okay, great. Well, nice to meet you all today. And thank you for sharing a little bit about you. Kennedy, figure skating. Oh, great. Okay, so we have a lot of different sports. Sarah and Andrea and Grand Prairie. Awesome. So you're close to where I'm from in Peace River. Great. So I love hearing all about your sports because I think what I do is I get to work with lots of different sports every day. So it's super cool that we get to talk about some skills today that affect a whole variety of sports. So thank you all for participating and putting that in the chat. Really appreciate it. So I work in the field of mental training and sport. So just like you have physical trainers that train your body and you have nutritionists that help you teach you what to put in your body, I basically help coach the brain. So that's my job. Just like you have physical trainers, you can have mental trainers too. So that's what I do every day. I get to work with athletes that are, my youngest athlete I work with is like 5 or 6 years old. And my oldest athlete is probably like 40, 45 years old. So I work with figure skating, swimming, hockey, volleyball. What else do I do? Oh, so many sports. Hockey, they said that, I think. Baton twirling, you name it. I work with athletes. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to be going for about 40 to 45 minutes, just so you know, Casey. We're going to be done here probably about 7:20, give or take. Okay, just so you know. And we'll make sure we put that special password in for you at the end of our session too. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So I used to play sports as well growing up. And I really love that this is my full-time job now. This is what I get to do every day. So it's super cool to get to work with you. I'm going to invite you to use the chat box if you have questions. I may not answer the question right away, but I want to, Justin's going to help me collect the questions too. So if I can't get to it in the presentation, we'll make sure we have time at the end to spend some really meaningful time answering your questions today, especially if it relates to some of the things we're going to talk about. Okay, so we got bowling, Miranda. Hi, Miranda. Good. Powerlifting. Wonderful. Good. I'm just so intrigued. All the sports you all play. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to start today with talking and thinking about one thing that just makes you special. One thing that sets you apart from everybody else. Something that just makes you you. Okay? Maybe you like certain things. Maybe you're really smart. Maybe you're very thoughtful and kind. Maybe you think of others or you're funny. I just want you to think of one thing that makes you special. Okay? If you want to write it down, you can go ahead and do that. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about one thing that makes you special as an athlete. So what's one superpower you have as an athlete? Okay, I want you to think about that. And if anyone wants to put it in the chat, oh, Miranda, amazing. My ability to cheer people up. That's fantastic. You probably are an awesome teammate. You like to smile. You're a good friend. Good job. Keep them coming. These are awesome. Being a good team member. Thank you, Nick, for bringing that up. I think that's a huge strength that we don't spend enough time talking about these days. So being a good team member and being able to compete. Betty likes helping people. Lori, your ability to get out there. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. Athlete ambassador. Oh, great. Friendly. These are just awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. And new athletes starting. Okay, good. So why am I asking you these questions? Any ideas? Any ideas why I want to know what your superpowers are? Anybody have any ideas? You like to cheer, Georgia swimming. Okay, good. Special Olympics. You give advice to athletes. Cool. Oh, perfect. And being a role model. Excellent. Good. So Why is it important that we talk about superpowers? Well, superpowers are important for me to know to help you because we want to use your superpowers when we're competing in sport. We want to use them when you're training. We want to use them to build other people up. And mostly we want to use them on ourselves. How many of us would agree that sometimes sport can get a little competitive and sometimes there can be a little bit of pressure when we have to compete? Anybody agree with me? Would you agree? Yeah, I'm getting thumbs up. Totally. Couple thumbs up. Yeah. So when sport gets stressful and we feel like there's lots of demands and lots of stress put on us, we need to be able to cope. We need to be able to deal with those challenges and rise to kind of our own peak to figure out what we can do to help us get through that journey. Okay. And as we've talked about before, we know that there's a bit of a climb. And sometimes climbing isn't easy. And sport can be like that too, where there's going to be challenges. And having these superpowers or these special qualities about us definitely help us manage these challenges. Okay. Thanks everybody for continuing to put stuff in the chat. I'm going to keep picking things out as we go along today. So I want you to think about different types of trees now. All the different types of plants and trees that you can think of. Any type of plant tree, and I want you to put it in the chat box. If you can name a plant or a tree, what do we know? What kind of trees are there? What kind of plants are there? Pine trees, good. Elm, maple, oh, good ones. Oaks, holy smokes, yeah. Christmas tree, good one. Okay, Christmas tree, oh, a few of us. Roses, apples, peach, bananas, yeah. White spruce. Okay, what about plants and flowers? Any ideas? Apple tree. Oh, good. Got some emoticons there. Thanks, Justin, for putting that in. So we've come up with a fairly a whole group of trees, right? Good. Tulip. Okay, good. So we have a whole bunch of trees. So I thought I would share a couple more trees with you. And plants. I too thought of the Christmas tree. I thought of the pine. I thought of trees that have lots of color. And I thought of a cactus because a cactus is a prickly plant. And I also thought about a palm tree. So what do you notice about all the different types of plants and trees here? Anyone want to put in the chat? What do you notice about all these plants? Anybody want to throw in the chat? What do you notice? So they're all unique. There's tons of colors. They're amazing. They're vibrant, right? They're different. Yeah. Are there any trees that are the same in the 6 pictures that I've showed you? Miranda, you're on the ball today. So the trees are kind of like all of us. Just like you said, we're all different. We have different strengths and weaknesses. We have different colors. We look different. And Kayla's jumping in saying, yeah, she agrees too. Awesome. So the reason I wanted to start off the conversation today, kind of just like us as human beings, we're kind of like trees, okay? We're all different and we all have good hearts, but some of us might be tall, some of us might be short, some of us might have different color of hair, but we're all important. Okay? So we kind of are like plants. And how does that make sense now, Erin? Well, I think we're like plants because we all grow in different environments. We have different families, we're different ages, we look different, we even may sound different. We have our own set of skills and strengths and weaknesses too. Okay. So, what I want you to start thinking about is I want you to get your pen and paper out, and you might want to answer this question, or you might want to even draw how you feel. Okay. So, the first question is, what makes you feel strong, like you can grow? What makes you feel strong? Now, you can answer this as a human being, or you can answer this as an athlete. Okay. So for me, when I play bocce, for example, I feel strong when I can throw the ball really, really far, farther than other people. Okay. That makes me feel strong. When I play team sports, I feel like I can grow and learn when I have other people that help me, like my coaches and my teammates. Okay. So I want you to take a minute or two and I just want you to think about what makes you feel strong, like you can grow. Now, we're kind of like plants in more than one way. So some plants grow in different types of weather. Some grow in really hot weather, really tropical weather. Some, good. You guys are all putting these all in the chat. Awesome. Oh, so good. Okay, so some of us need to drink water and eat healthy. You're strong when you are bowling, when you feel like an ocean. Yeah, and there's even plants that live in the ocean, right? So it's really important for you to acknowledge when you feel strong because we want to be able to mimic those things. We want to be able to feel strong in many different spaces. Okay. And I think what you're all kind of hinting at is that it's not just one thing that makes you feel strong. There's many ways to feel strong. So back to this weather, we just like plants, we all have different teams that we're part of. We have different coaches. We train in different environments. Kayla, thanks for sharing. I feel strong when I do my sports and have support. Okay. So as you can see on the slideshow, I actually just asked that question. If you're kind of like a tree, you need foundation. You need strong things to help hold you up. And if you're like a tree trunk, what supports you? The tree trunk can definitely support you, right? And when you're growing and learning and going, everywhere with your branches, you want to have that solid foundation. So, what I want you to think about now is what kind of support you have. Who's in your corner? Who helps you climb to the peak when it's real tough? Or who helps you deal with those days when maybe it's a little rainy outside, you don't feel like training, or it's cloudy outside, it's really snowy? Who do you have to support? You feel strong when your family helps. Awesome. Your support worker. Good. These are fantastic. Your boyfriend, family, teammates. Good. Okay. So the reason I thought we could talk about trees is they're kind of like us. They're going to require different nutrients to grow. And each one of us, in order to grow, requires different things. So that's what I really want you to think about. Okay. And the final thing I want you to take away about trees is that all trees don't look the same. Each has special qualities that allow it to grow and flourish. We come in different shapes and sizes, and we all have different branches too, things that help us really, really reach out to our potential. Okay. So I just want to check the chat box because I see there's a lot of it coming in here. Good. So family, your friends, your coaches, good. So we have a lot of people supporting us. And I think that's something we want to take away from today. Okay. So why is this important in sport? Well, we know that when we are involved in training and performance, having a good sense of who we are helps us perform at our best. But in order to do that, we got to spend some time getting to know ourselves. And that's why I put a picture of each one of us kind of looking in a mirror. We have to do some reflection. We got to take a look in the mirror and think, what do I bring to the table? What do I bring to this environment? What are my strengths and weaknesses? Okay. Now, the reason this is so important is these things affect how we think. Sometimes those thoughts affect how we feel. And those feelings sometimes can even influence how we behave or how we act. So it's really important to know about our personalities, what kind of trees we are, what kind of people we are, to know about maybe what our limitations are, maybe if we have boundaries. Are there things that stress us out that maybe don't help us grow, that challenge us? And also how it affects how we perform when we do get to go and compete. Okay. So the reason we want to spend some time on this today is the self-awareness, knowing yourself helps us work on other mental skills, some that you've done already, like your goal setting, your mindfulness. Simply by thinking and taking time to understand you as a person allows us to be more mindful, and it allows us to build our confidence to who we are. Okay. So, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, some pretty big words there. So, what I thought I would do is I thought I would share some of my favorite emojis with you. Okay. So, what I would love for you to do in the chat right now is to let me know what emojis you can see on the screen. What do you see on the screen? Happy. Perfect. Okay. Mad. Good. I think you all know that's probably the red one with the steam coming out of the ears. Happy and love, angry, excited, sad. Good. Oh, good one, Laura. Yeah, the steam coming out of the nose too. Shyness. Yeah. Stressed for sure. Yeah, a little concerned, right? And some of you are even adding more emojis to the chat box. Thanks. I love the one with the sunglasses, being able to kind of calm down a little bit too, right? Okay, good. So I just got a note saying that all the mixed emojis represent how we are thinking. Yeah, and I'm going to take it one step further. These also represent how we can feel, and how we can feel when we're training and then when we're competing. Okay. So, big question. And this one I want you to write down. Okay. Or you can draw it too. Tell me what it feels like when you experience one of these emotions. Does it help you in sport, or does it harm you in sport? So I'll give you an example. When I go bowling on Wednesday nights, I'm a little competitive with my friends. I really like to win. Sometimes when I throw a gutter ball, I definitely am the emoticon of the little dude in the red there with steam coming out. So some of you got, depending on moods, they can harm you or help you. Good. So think about in sport, when you experience these emotions, good. So when you're stressed, it can kind of harm you. Good. When you're angry, others aren't nice. Yeah, absolutely. Right. They don't know maybe how to react or how to work with you. Yeah, that happens to me too. I know my teammates don't really want to always be around me when I'm angry either if I miss a ball. Yeah. Okay. Those are great answers. It's mixed, so you can be bullied. Yeah, so you may have mixed emotions too. Or if you get down and you get upset, it doesn't help you be an athlete. Okay, that's great feedback, everybody. Thank you. Okay. So it is normal that we experience a whole bunch of emotions, and you're all highlighting them right now. Some of you are saying, like, when you're happy, things are going well, but when you have a bad game, you can get frustrated or upset. And maybe when you're even having a bad game, when you're not performing well, you get frustrated, right? And sometimes when we can't control our emotions, they don't actually let us focus on what we need to do. So, what I want you to think about is, what's one thing that helps you when you feel these certain emotions that don't help? So, what's one strategy you have? And I think you might have even learned some in the last couple of sessions. What are some things you can do to help you when you feel a certain way that isn't helpful? Oh, Kayla, deep breathing. Awesome. Abby wrote staying positive. We got read a book. You can even get nervous. So learning how to calm down. Oh, milkshake breathing. Miranda, you have to tell me what milkshake breathing is. I've never heard that before. Okay. These are all, thank you. Diamond painting. So mindfulness, good. Walking, meditation, asking for help. Okay, these are all great strategies. Praying, good. So taking a moment to just calm down, calm music, hot chocolate breathing. Oh my goodness. How come I don't know these breathing exercises? Adult coloring books. Yeah, that's a big one for me too. Okay. So yeah, someone needs to figure out how to tell me at the end of the session what milkshake and hot chocolate breathing are, because I definitely want to know. Okay. So all of you have these great strategies. But what I want you to think about today is Do you know when you need to use these strategies? That's part of self-awareness. Some of you said yes. Okay. Like when we're stressed or we're feeling overwhelmed. Perfect. Thanks, Miranda. Good. Hot chocolate is when you picture holding a mug. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, good. So, what I want you to think about is, when do we need to use the strategies we have? Okay. So we're going to keep moving on because I got a lot of stuff to go through here, and everything you're putting in relates back to some of the themes we're talking about. Okay. So when you're stressed or when you're challenged or when you're having a hard time, we want to be able to use the strengths and weaknesses we have, or to be aware of them, to pick the strategies we're going to use. So I chose this cool picture here of a mountain peak and two people looking at the mountain peak, because everyone has a different journey to the top. Okay. We all have different ways that we're going to get to the top. Some of us may be really fast. Some of us might take our time. And we all have our different strengths and weaknesses that are going to help us get there. Okay. But some of us might go the real fast route. Some of us may stop and take a break. Some of us may need to even stop, come down, and start again. And what I want you to know is, each way is totally cool as long as it's important to you. Okay. So some of us, with our strengths, we're going to use them in sport. And sometimes they're really easy. We know what they are, but we still got to be able to work on them. And the way in which we need to do that is to kind of identify what strengths and weaknesses we have, what are going to help us on this climb. And it's really easy to talk about our strengths, but sometimes it's not easy to talk about our weaknesses. I know I have a hard time too. I think a lot about failure and maybe comparing myself to other people. I don't know if any of you have felt that way, but that's something that I definitely work on all the time. So we're going to talk a little bit more about strengths and weaknesses here in our activity. So I would like everybody right now to get out their pens and their papers. Okay. Can everybody get them out? I can't see you all at the same time. Everybody got your pens and your papers. Good. Oh, good. I can see pens. Carla had her pen up. She's got her paper ready. Good. Akira, you too. Good. Okay. So this is kind of the big activity for today. We're going to do something called the performance profile. It's a fancy term. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a cool wheel, like a big circle. I'll show you how in a minute. And we're going to basically do like a pizza or a pie chart of our strengths and weaknesses. And that's going to be our takeaway from today. Now, the reason this is important is it allows us to identify the areas we need to work on, that we want to improve on. We can use them to help set goals, which I've heard you've already done in our sessions lately. And it's something we can share with other people. We can share with our coaches. We can share with our support workers. And it's an activity we want to do. Okay. So what I'm going to get you all to do is draw a big circle, just like this. Okay. And then you're going to kind of make it into a pizza or a pie, depending what you like more, on what you like more. And you're going to draw little pieces just like this. So I kind of drew lines through mine. You can create as many pieces of pizza or pie as you want. I did 8 total. So one here, one here, one here. Okay. So take your time. No rush. I want you to just take a minute to draw a really great circle. And if you don't want to color or draw today, no problem. And for those of you who don't have a paper or pencil right now, no worries. You can just follow along and you can start thinking a little bit about, if you were to do this exercise, what you would do. Okay. And I know that this is an activity you can do later. So if you don't have access to this stuff, you can definitely email us and we can make sure we give you the instructions of how to do this again. Okay. Okay. So Can I see by a show of hands, or can everyone raise their hand on the screen if you were able to draw a picture, a pizza and a pie? Good. Few of you are able to draw a pizza and a pie. Alex, you draw. Oh, good. Everyone's showing. Yeah. Okay, good. You're able to draw it. Now, for some of you who maybe have extra colors, you can be as creative as you want. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to write a number or anything. The only thing you're going to do is you're going to color in your pie. Okay. And what it's going to look like is you're going to pick a strength. Oh my goodness, strength or weakness. And then you're going to draw in where you think it is. If you think it's a weakness, you might just draw a little bit of the pie. But if you think it's a strength, you might color in the whole piece of the pizza or the pie. So for me, for example, I think I have a pretty good attitude. Okay. That's going to be one of my strengths. And I'm going to write it outside the pizza or the pie right here. Okay. And I'm going to keep writing some of my strengths and weaknesses. So being coachable, I think that could be a strength or a weakness. Okay. My ability to focus, being a good teammate. So those are 4 examples I came up with. So what I want to do is take a few minutes and I want you to come up with different strengths and weaknesses you have. And then what you're going to do is you're going to color in the section. If they're a strength, you're going to color in most of the pizza. But if they're a weakness, you might only color in a little bit of that piece of the pizza. Okay. So I think I have a really good attitude. So I colored in most of my pizza here. Okay. I know for me, a weakness of mine is sometimes handling my emotions. So down here, for example, I may only color in part of my pizza. So what I want everyone to do is we're going to take 5 minutes and I want you to draw and color in all your strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So I'm going to give you some more examples of strengths and weaknesses in case you're stuck. Thanks for the great feedback. So some of you might think that your pizza is fully covered because you're happy and you got lots of strengths. That's awesome. You can have as many strengths and weaknesses as you want. There are no rules for this exercise. Okay. This is about you as an individual athlete and what you bring to the table, what you know about yourself. Okay. So some other strengths and weaknesses. Maybe you're very strong. Maybe you have a good routine. Maybe you know how to manage distraction and you can stay focused. Maybe you're a good listener. Okay. Maybe some of the weaknesses we have is maybe we do get distracted easy. Maybe we're really hard on ourselves. Maybe we struggle with handling feedback from teammates. Okay. Maybe we get nervous. If you have any questions, I want you to put them in the chat, but we're going to take a couple minutes now. We're going to keep working through this. Okay. Maybe we get scared, or maybe we're really, really brave when it matters. Maybe you have courage. Stand up for other people. Thanks, Miranda. I try to be friendly. I think that's one of my strengths. Okay. So there's no rules for your pizza or your pie. Your pizza profile, maybe we'll call it that. Pizza pie profile. Say that really fast. Okay. And what this exercise allows you to do is get to know yourself and think about what are my strengths and weaknesses. So sometimes I do this exercise when I work with athletes, and we'll spend like a whole hour talking about it. Because what you can do once you complete this activity is you can take it back to your coach and you can talk about your strengths and weaknesses. And then what you can do is you can say, these are the things I want to work on and practice today. And they might be able to help you do that. So for example, for me, I know focus is something I probably need to work on. It's, in bowling, I get distracted by watching other people and seeing how they're doing a lot of the time. And maybe if I just chose to work on focusing that would help me be a little bit better of an athlete. And I think taking a deep breath, maybe part of my routine, some more mindfulness that you've all mentioned. Once you have all your strengths and weaknesses and you get to talk to your coach, then you get to make a plan. Okay. So some of you are even writing your goals down. I want to be a good teammate. I want to be stronger. Good. So how do we take this information? Well, we take our paper to our coaches, okay, or your support systems, your tree trunks, and we say, I think I need some help with this. What can I do with it? Now, what they can do is they can say, okay, these are great things. These are everything that you know that you're really good at. And there's some areas we want to get better at. Let's work together to see if we can actually practice them. Okay. So a good attitude, that's great. Okay. How can some people, if for this activity, how can some people actually do it? Okay, Megan, that's a good question. So the follow-up piece to this activity is you want to take what you're learning and we want to be able to talk about it. So when we know ourselves as athletes, we can actually make a plan. Okay, and then we can practice those things. All right. I think too, the goal setting piece is really important. You all learned about goals recently. Does anyone remember anything about their goal setting session?
So in week 2, everyone, we did goal planning with Jody. Remember the sheets that we made, and some of you shared on Facebook. Do you still have those goals? Do you remember what they are? If you do, can you please put them in the chat?
Yes, please put them in the chat. Jordan, I love the strength you put about being a role model. That is so important. Okay. It's okay to be stuck on this exercise. So if you're getting stuck, I want you to just think about one thing you're really good at. Okay. Are you a good listener? Do you try really hard? Are you motivated when you come to practice? And yes, at the end, I promise we will give you a password. Absolutely. No problem. I even know what it is ahead of time, and it's a good one. Okay. Being friendly. Yeah. Okay. So the goal planning sheets you did in week 2, some of you are sharing that you've set goals. Okay. Okay. I think it's important to actually look back at the goals that you did set and see if the things we are talking about today actually can be things you want to work on. And if you've already done those goals, oh, thank you. Goals need to be realistic and achievable. Awesome. Did you guys by chance learn about the SMART acronym? That goals need to be specific, measurable, realistic, time-oriented, and attainable or achievable by any chance? Okay, so you've all, yeah, you know what those goal setting strategies are. Good. So one of you wants to get back to nationals, one of you just wants to be positive and happy. You remember learning deep breathing. Good. Timely. Yes, timely is the best one. So that means we want to set our goal within a specific period of time. Okay. So now what I want to do, since you all know about goal setting, is I want you to pick one weakness from our pizza or our pie today. You remember the SMART goals. Good. Staff has been helpful, keeping you positive. Good. So I want you to pick one weakness from today. And I want you to think about one goal you can set for yourself and how you would achieve it based on your pizza today. One weakness from your pizza. I want you to think about what's one thing you would do to improve that goal. So if my weakness is getting distracted, my goal for the next time I go to training might be to take a deep breath and focus before I start practice. Okay. Oh, I'm getting some good feedback here too about how to improve my bowling game. This is great. from this activity, what are good ways to do it? Okay, good question, Megan. Thanks. So, good ways to do this activity. The pizza and the pie is just one way to talk about our strengths and weaknesses. And I like to color. So I thought, oh, we could all draw pizzas or pies, but you can just talk about your strengths and weaknesses too. You don't necessarily have to do the activity itself. I just thought it'd be cool to do some coloring today. But what I want you to know is you can practice this activity just by talking to someone about your strengths and your weaknesses. So next time you see your coach, you can definitely talk about something you want to work on in training, okay? In practice. Something positive about you too that you know helps you be a good athlete, okay? So some of you have some really great goals that you've shared. Okay, not to be shy. I like that one. Okay, so that's a great example. Okay, if you're shy, sometimes I can be a little shy too, believe it or not. If you're shy, what might be one way we could work on getting out of our comfort zone and being less shy? Does anybody have any ideas that you could put in the chat bomb? What's one idea you could work on being less shy? Any ideas? Get out and meet your new teammates. Someone sent me that one privately. So, yeah, not being afraid to go and introduce yourself and just say, hi, my name is good. Miranda brought that up too. James is saying he can do it. Awesome. That's something you all can work on simply by going out and saying, hi, my name is, right? And I think that's huge. Your goal is to take the public bus. Awesome, Brittany. That's so specific. I love it. Okay. Say hello to a stranger. Oh, you guys are crushing this. Okay. These are absolutely all things we can do. You are definitely strong and you are definitely able. Okay. Now, tying this back to why it's important to know this about ourselves is we can improve ourselves. We can work on these things if we know what we need to get better at. Okay. But also, we can really celebrate our superpowers too by recognizing what makes us special. Okay. Danielle, thanks for sharing that. For you, you put some goals that relate to controlling your emotions. So you have the self-awareness to say, I can't let it affect my teammates. I know that sometimes maybe when I'm stressed or challenged, it can affect other people. Fantastic example. Thank you. Okay. Welcoming new people to the Special Olympics family. Oh my gosh, you guys, you are on the ball here. Great. It's important to say hello during COVID because people are feeling down. Yeah, it is. And I think we've all kind of had these little ups and downs too, right? So making pizzas and making our pies is one way to check in with ourselves to see where we are. And as we're working on mindfulness, as we're working on goal setting and all these mental skills that relate to having a good mindset, it helps us be that much stronger of an athlete. Okay. So that's where we're going to end today. The big messages I want you to take away is number one, you're all like trees. You're all very different. You have special qualities that make you unique, and you all require different things to help you grow and flourish and grow really big and strong. That's number one. Number two, it's important to know those qualities because it helps us figure out what we need in order to perform and be at our best and be really good human beings. Okay. Also, if we know how we think and how it affects how we feel, we can better understand how it affects how we perform and how we train and how we act and how we behave. And in turn, that means how maybe we handle stress. Okay. Because that was a note that got brought up. Yeah. Thank you all for those comments. Okay. And then the last thing I want to tie together is we all go on different journeys. No one's going to have the same pizza. No one's going to have the same pie. Everyone has a different peak to climb. Some of us may go a little slower than others, but it's really important that we celebrate that each one of us has a really special journey to the top. Okay. And the things that you've talked about, like your goal planning and your mindfulness, are definitely strategies that help us get to the top. Okay. So, your homework from me today is to finish your pizza or your pie. And if you want to post it on Facebook, you can do that. Okay. I know that you can even email it for Special Olympics. And the magic password for today is lobster. Okay. And lobsters are really special. They come in different colors of red. Sometimes you can even find a blue lobster. That's how special they are. Okay. So, what I want you to remember is magic word lobster. So, if you do have any questions, please feel free to stay on and I'm happy to answer them. Justin's going to moderate for me. So, please put them in the chat and we're going to go through those questions really quickly. Oh, we got 3 questions. Oh my gosh, great. Okay.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Okay, yep. Lori, you can unmute and ask your question.
All right. So you guys have taught us in all of the peak programs, but the biggest thing that we have all learned is no matter where you are, if you're in competition or whatever, all your teammates out there should always respect you no matter if you win, lose, or anything. It's not all about winning. It's all about getting out there and showing that you've got what it takes to be a true team, work together as a team, and you'll eventually make it up to the mountain. If you decide not to work as a team, then the question is, why are you even an athlete if we're not out there to try? Another thing is I learned the minute we got to the bowling alley, every one of the athletes that got there ran right for the concession. So now our coaches have banned us from going to the concessions. Okay. And you know what? I agree with them.
That's good. So, okay, I got to say, Lori, first of all, thanks for sharing that great information. So, number one, the important thing is that we show up. We're all there. We're all there with a bunch of different strengths that we bring to the table, and we need to be able to make sure that we're all trying our very best to support each other. Fantastic. And then the second thing is sometimes we have to have rules, and coaches need to have rules because maybe we need to have some boundaries. Maybe we need to follow rules when we are training too, right? But the most important thing I think that you highlighted is that we just need to be there and we need to support each other. And I think it takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. So thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Leonka, you can unmute and ask your question.
Leonka, where are you? There you are.
Right. Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry I'm late.
But ask your question.
I thought it was 7, but it was at 6:30.
No problem. I'm glad you were able to join. Even
Thank
a
you.
little bit is better than nothing. What's your
Right.
question?
I'm confused about the pie.
The pie. Okay.
And
so
this is what I've done.
That's great. Okay, so you already, oh my gosh, you already got things down. Okay, so what you're going to do, you've done half of it already. So you've wrote around the side of your pie. And what you need to do now is think about each quality you put, and you're going to rate yourself. If you think that it's a strength, you're going to color it all in. And if you think it's a weakness, you may only color part of it in. So for me, remember when I said that I get distracted very easy? Yeah. I colored that one in just a little bit because that's something I need to work on. Okay.
Right.
Does that help you understand a little bit about the activity?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Good job.
And thank you very much for
You're
the good
welcome.
section.
Thank you. And thanks for coming today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Erin, do you have a description of the practice?
No, I don't, but I think we could work on one at some point together.
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss one and then I'll post it in the Facebook and put it on the website for everyone if you want to do it at a later time.
Yeah, and then everybody can keep their eyes peeled for it. May not get to it tomorrow or Wednesday, but just keep your eyes peeled on the Facebook page and it'll for sure be on there at some point. Okay.
Cool. How much more time do you have for questions?
I think let's ask 2 more questions.
2 more? Okay, well, let's make them quick. So Danielle, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi.
Hi, Danielle.
Hello.
I've got like three things that I want to continue to work on, and 4 or 5 that I'm really good at. So I'm just wondering, like, in terms of focus and strength training, those are areas I'm kind of good at, but I still want to work on. And right now, I'm not doing any sports because my family and kids that I work with are immune compromised, so I can't be around large groups.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, right now, basically, my connections to my Special Olympics friends are all through online.
Yeah. So, that's something that I think we've all faced during COVID. And I love that you're attending these peak sessions because you may not be able to work on your sport, for example, like the actual training of your sport. But when you attend these sessions, these affect how you train. So the mindset ones, that's all different types of training that you can use. So I would recommend you keep attending these sessions because that's a form of training. And then number two, when you do online meets with all your buddies, maybe like do some push-ups or kind of come up with some activities you can do with each other to support. Maybe next time you have a visit, you're all going to do 10 push-ups or 10 sit-ups together. So what are some cool things you can do to support each other that you might not be able to train, but you might be able to do other activities to still help you stay in shape, to stretch, to do mental training, mindfulness. So that's what I would recommend if you can't be out training right now.
That really helps.
Good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for
Nice
asking your
to-
question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danielle. Okay, Brittany, you can ask one question really quick.
Hi.
Hi, Brittany.
I have a goal, but I'm having a hard time with it.
Okay.
Like I'm an athlete and I have a hard time, like I want to lose weight, but I'm having a hard time with not staying away from junk food. And that's my hardest.
Yeah, we all have that problem. So when you did your goal planning, we always want to make sure we're doing healthy things, number one. And you probably have some people in your life that help you support healthy choices, right? So when we set any goals, we want to be realistic. And with goal setting is really hard, but it's super important. And the most important thing about it is that when we set goals, we want it to be realistic, which all of you mentioned, but we want to set little goals. These goals don't have to be huge. They don't have to be big. It might be something as simple as I'm going to do 3 push-ups per day. Or instead of next time I want to have a chocolate bar, I'm going to go for a yogurt. And maybe that's your goal for 1 week. And then you get to check it off. You get to crush it. And you get to say, crush my goal that week. Okay.
Okay.
So little things matter when you're doing goal setting. Okay.
Thank you.
Little things.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're so welcome. So thank you all for joining me today. I'm so happy you were able to tune in. I wish you the best of luck as you return to sport, because I know some of you are actually getting back into it and you get to compete. So I wish you all the best as you get back into your competition environments. Go have fun, try your best, and remember you're all special trees. Okay, use those superhuman powers and go out there and have a lot of fun while you compete in sport.